On something like this, it would be all right, you know, stucco install. We would talk about the reason that we cut back, that it's going to have the nailing flange on it, that we're going to refinish the stucco, seal up the envelope of the house, all of that stuff. If there's an alternative to it, meaning we could do a lick 'em and stick 'em type of a situation where we're using a flush fin or brick mold, one would, oh, okay, so that would apply down here in the conversation. Okay, so again, it goes back to the same.
I'll loop these two in together as well to show the contrast.
Perfect.
These are the exact same size openings.
Okay. Oh, perfect. Oh, what, really? Wow. Okay. Why don't maybe I should grab a tape. I'll take pictures of it later. So again, why this type of install? What are we going to order? How are we going to install it? And what do we want to avoid is the basics of the conversation.
This is great.
All right?
Okay.
All right.
That. Cool. All right. So you've got our infinity wall on how we install here at Lifetime. We'll start here with the block/brick install. So if you have a block home or brick block opening, you're going to install it in this manner. We're using a full frame window. You can see we left some of this exposed so you can see what goes on behind the finish, which is called backer rod. That just helps create a backing for our caulking so that it just doesn't fall into an abyss. It also helps provide a little bit of insulation. So with a block opening, we're going to tear out the old window and frame in its entirety, okay? And we're going to basically install the new window in the same manner the original was installed in most cases, meaning all of your screws are going to go through the frame directly into the masonry using masonry appropriate fasteners. One extra step we took on this sample was to show you what we do in the event that we have a sloped sill. Now when we created this opening, it's a perfectly flat sill, but we undersized the window so we could show the material that we used when you have a certain pitch on the exterior of that sill. As you can see here, it's a little bit smaller. This one's a little bit bigger. These are frame expanders. They come directly from the manufacturer. And what we can do is when we make the window width-wise to its max and height-wise to its max, the front of this window is going to be sitting out over the pitch of that slope in those cases. So instead of using an oversized bead of caulk, we're going to use a frame expander so that we can get a more consistent finish on all four sides. So that's what you see here. Okay. Moving to the next, we'll go up directly above. This is a simulated stucco cutback install. What we do in this case is we cut around the old window all the way, roughly 4 to 5 inches, remove the old window in its entirety, and we install the new window like new construction. So you see that these windows actually come with a nailing fin. This is not just to help secure the window in place, but is also there as part of the water barrier. In this particular install, we're still going to screw in through the side of the frame, which is actually just much stronger because these fins are actually not very rigid. They're actually kind of flexible, okay? But it is part of the water barrier system. Once we've installed the window and it's finished and ready to put things back, we're going to, this is kind of backwards on this board, but that's okay. We're going to actually make sure that this flashing has been reattached to the original paper. This is actually your water barrier. Stucco is not your barrier. It's porous. It'll hold about roughly 90% saturation rate. Okay? Once it gets to that point, water will go through it. Okay? This is actually what protects the house. It's not simulated on this wall, but every house that's stucco like this, that's stick frame built, has a weep screed on the bottom. That's actually the drainage system for any water that gets back here, hits this paper, gravity takes it down, it comes out those weep screeds. And you'll see how, when you get familiar with these houses out here, that weep screed sticks out over the foundation. You'll notice that, okay? And once this is all put back together and watertight, then our stucco guys or crews, whichever ones get assigned, will come back, add new foam. They'll take their chicken wire lath and actually overlap it to the old and staple it so that it holds a nice tight bond. We've created nice pretty edges here for our simulation, but our stucco guys actually will notch this out so that instead of doing a butt joint old to new, they do a finger joint so that they become married. Okay? Then we move from your stucco cutback down here, you've actually got both of these are simulating jump frame installs. You can see the old window frames that are actually installed on this wall that we've jumped the frame on. So we've inserted a window inside of it. Now to show you the difference between stucco cutback and jump frame on how it actually finishes, these two openings are actually the exact same size. So I'll let you capture that here briefly. You can see much more glass on the top right than on the bottom left.
We're good, Chris. Go ahead.
Okay. So jump frame, what we're doing is deglazing the old window and leaving just the frame intact. And we're installing a new window over the top of that. This piece here is called the flush fin. That's what Marvin calls it. A generic name that we could call it would be a stucco fin. So what we're doing with this is we're creating our water seal by using this fin. As you can see here, there's a back bead on the old frame. It runs back here behind this fin, and then we do a perimeter bead.
I feel like there was a name for that. You call it like double something.
It's like a double barrier. There's no real technical name other than back bead and perimeter bead.
Back bead and perimeter bead.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
So both of those are very important. Let me show you what happens on the inside. So, as you can see here, this is the old original frame. Here's one of our fasteners going through the frame into the stud of the home. As you can see, we're going to foam fill these to insulate this cavity. Also help break any heat transfer that could potentially come through from the old window to the new window. So we want to make sure that these cavities are filled sufficiently. And then the way we finish these off is by flat trimming with this stock flat trim that's color coordinated to the windows. It has an adhesive back on one side that gets applied to the new window frame itself, and then it gets caulked to the drywall for a good clean finish. This is another instance where you're going to see a difference between this type of install versus the stucco cutback. So you saw the impact